when I'm teaching a module, I just like to refresh our mind about these key points because the lecture is going to be anchored on them. And so if I go straight into the lecture without refreshing the mind, you might have forgotten what we said earlier in the day. So etiquette may be defined as the formal rules of correct or polite behavior in society or among members of age, profession. We said what etiquette was considered as a customary code, a set of norms, and that impoliteness is not accepted in etiquette. We said protocol is defined as for facilitating events. It's a code of conduct as well, and that it creates a distraction-free environment. Protocol pertains to behavior of government. So what is the difference between protocol and etiquette? I said both are norms, set of rules. The only difference is to which sphere do they pertain. And for protocol, it pertains or it belongs in the official sphere. That's the behavior of the government or the conduct of government. Whereas etiquette is code of social behavior or acceptable behavior. Now, we'll dwell a bit more on etiquette. And why are we dwelling on it? Because culture itself is just a body of etiquette, a body of rules, okay? A body of customs, tradition, convention, it will be. And before you know, when you get to culture, they say it's the way of life of a people. You are talking of their food, you are talking of language, you are talking of their belief system, you are talking of education. So for you to be able to discuss culture in its full ramification and everything, you need to understand the building blocks. Like they say in law, you can't do something and nothing. Therefore, this is just grabbing in etiquette. Now we say what etiquette is. Acceptable code or norms of behavior. Now there are various etiquettes, and this is by no means, let's slide this by no means an exhaustive list, but I'm just doing some of the main ones. You have greeting etiquette, speech etiquette, and table etiquette. Why are these important? Because they differ from one part to the other. Greeting etiquette in this part is different from greeting etiquette in the Middle East, for instance. Okay? Speech etiquette is different in Japan. For instance, compared to etiquette in Nigeria. Then people say, oh, Nigerians are very, very aggressive. But no, this is what we speak. We tend to speak with very high pitch. That people think we are very aggressive, we are combative, or we are happy about the situation. Two Nigerians might be joking, and if you don't know about the Nigerian etiquette, you might think they're quarreling. Okay? So that's why it's important to understand this thing. And then table etiquette. In the Middle East, most likely you're going to sit on a rock to have a meal. But in Europe, you sit at a table and there are certain rules that govern your behavior during the meal. So, next slide. British etiquette. What impressions matter. Why? Because impression created in a few minutes might take a lifetime to eradicate, or might take considerable time to change, if at all you succeed. So, the first few seconds are essential when somebody sees you. So, perception is 50% of reality. If you get very scrupulous, it might be very difficult for you to present yourself as a foreign service officer. Because somebody will say, well, I mean, they're nice dressers, they're neat, they comport themselves well. Now, if you get very scrupulous and you come into my office, dressed inappropriately, psychologically, there's already a barrier. Even when you explain yourself, I find it difficult to accept you are what you are. There's this case going on the internet where this black man walked into this white lady's office and presented a check. It wasn't cash. And of course, she just took the phone and called the police. That this guy stolen somebody's check. She didn't believe to have a check. Later. He was wearing, some sort of sneakers. It was summer, so he had shorts on and then t-shirt. He called the security to send him out and everything. And the man said, look, this is money, said happy and all the dividends are. He probably spotted the man, it was a racist plant. And what did he do? And then she called the CEO and says, oh, he's having a problem with the man who refused to be there. The CEO walks in. I said, oh, Mr. So, I didn't know you were coming. Who was it? They were not the company. That had been thoroughly insulted that he stole a check. So appearance does really matter. Then introduction. When you introduce yourself, you say, I'm Mr. Samuel Johnson. You are not Mr. Samuel Johnson. Other people call you Mr. You are Samuel Johnson. If you're a major in the army, I'll put your title before. If you're listening. But we'll go to titles today. I will remember this because we are title crazy. You can have Chief Doctor Alhaji Builder. Adilani Adegoke. And God help you miss one of them when you're introducing him. So that is the thing we have when you use your full name with that prefix. When I introduced myself this morning, I just simply said, I am Akin Oyatero. That is the correct way. When introducing somebody else, you can use their prefix. Oh, this is Ambassador BZ Lolo. That's appropriate. Okay, and then when you're introducing people, you start with the higher rank. If the permanent secretary was to go somewhere with directors, and maybe an assistant director and then a principal officer, you start by introducing the permanent secretary force. When greeting people, you stand up and greet people. It doesn't matter who you are. If you come into my office, I listen and you are greeting me. If I want to respond to your greeting properly, I should get up to greet you. It does not in any way diminish who I am. It only shows that I have good manners and graces. In fact, some people, Europe, will require that you come out from behind the desk at the front in order to welcome them to your office. Because why do you do that? Usually, you will lead them to the stepping. All right? So if you are going to do a meeting with them, so that is the word is, but some people will not like that here. Then when you are, greeting people or shaking hands, it's good to make eye contact. Well, in some places they feel it is rude to look directly. But in some culture, if you are looking down, they think you are timid or insincere. You see why I'm giving all the variation, why etiquette, you have to understand it. You are insincere. And then handshakes should be firm. You don't give a limp handshake. It shows some lack of confidence. And you don't give a bone crusher as well, that the guy has to go and bite it off after he has just finished shaking you. Just hold the hand firmly and the rest of it. And please, 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 do not scratch anybody's palm. It is considered indecent and very rude. In some customs, by scratching palm, they are sending some indecent message. So don't do it. Particularly when you are shaking opposite sex. Then, in some customs, due to the cultural and religious beliefs, you do not shake women. In other customs, you shake women, but it is the woman's prerogative to extend her hand first. Okay? So don't go there and now shaking, just going up and down and shaking everybody's hand. No, you don't do that. Then, like I said, we are due to cultural sensitivity. Then we go to, that's greeting. You need to go back. You need to go back. Aha. No. Go back to etiquette. Yes. I think we go back to greeting, then we have the table etiquette. No, just go back to after greeting. Yes. Table etiquette. No, stay there. Yes. Table etiquette, like I said, differs from one culture to the other. You can sit on the Iraq, Mid Eastern, sit on the table, Western style, but I need you to take this quote along with you. This is by Clarence Thomas. So good manners will open doors and the best education. And I can attest to this as true. Good manners never cost you anything. Even if they don't add anything to you, they do not cost you anything. So, right on. Now, we go to this speech. Okay, speech now. Sorry, they already listening. When we're speaking, politeness should be observed once we get in public. Heated arguments should be avoided by all means. We refrain from interrupting others. I will do this a lot, even at formal meetings. It is not so, it is not so. That may well be true, but allow them to finish their contribution, and then you can come in with your own perspective. All right? So that is always essential. It's considered rude when you interrupt others. Texting or scrolling with your phone while with others is absolutely wrong. Because what it conveys is that you are not interested in them. You would rather have other things doing than being in that place. I know some of us do it unconsciously, or we do it because we do not have information of how others feel. This is what you call part of emotional intelligence. As we think from IQ, intelligence quotient, we shall be learning about cultural intelligence later on in this presentation. But that is what you should imbibe of that. Then be aware of your public image and use it. There is no way your official email will be at yahoo.com. Never. Because that gives a wrong impression about you entirely. So if you have a social forum you share with your friends and colleagues, you can be participating. But at work, definitely not. Okay? So you must use many MDAs now have official email. Maybe it will be O or A or Yacheru at mfa.gov.nig.org. All right? Avoid correcting others in public. This is essential. Please. You can always see them later and say, my brother, that thing you said was a bit rambling. It was a bit sensitive. I wish you had seen me, our had the discussion before opening it up. But I didn't want to quarrel, therefore I did not respond. I'm telling you, you have more respect and you're likely to achieve a better goal. The same place of thank you to those who serve you is height of good manners. Table etiquette, mainly using Western models. Cutlery must be correctly handled. They always say left on the fork, knife on the right. All right? Table arrangement and all this, that's another intricate thing. Entirely. It will take more than 4 hours to do that. Food must be chewed properly. There is no need having food in your mouth and your cheeks are broken, and you're still speaking through mouth, It not only looks, ugly, the person you are speaking to probably will not even get half of what you're saying. And once they don't get half of what you're saying, you are not communicating. Conversation must be low key. Very quiet, just say that other people around the table can easily be able to conduct their own conversation as well. Napkins are meant to dab the mouth. It's not an handkerchief to rub your face. Why? All those very expensive mascara will end up there. All your lipstick, will end up there. And please, if you have flu or catarrh, buy handkerchief. Things like this, they're neat and tidy. Put them in your pockets or put them in your bag. Never, ever use the napkin to blow your nose. Please, I beg you in the name of all that is good. And even when you have your pocket handkerchief and you need to blow your nose, excuse yourself from the table and go. Maybe at least or 10. Can we eliminate this interference? Okay, we can have another mic. Yeah, nobody. So please do that and then don't use that there. And your portions must be moderately served. You are not an architect, neither are you a builder. So don't go try to construct Zuma rock on your plate. You hit it so much that you have to carry it with 2 hands and walk ever so carefully. No. It's a buffet. Take as much as you need, you can always go back. I know the fear is that it will have finished. But the question is that if you take 3 people's portion, not only will the food have been expended, you deny some people having any dinner. My advice is take something little before you come out. Usually dinner parties are not mainly about food, they're about social networking. So always have that in mind. And when you cut your food, please cut them in bits so that the muscle you can easily chew and digest it. And if you need to speak, you can do that as well. Avoid chewing gum. It's simply not. Thank God now you can't smoke in public, so I wouldn't speak about that. Then let's go. Your dressing makes a strong statement about you. I've said that. Follow dress code to provided. Some events, they will tell you the dress code. Either lunch suit, national suit, or smart. And office wears, many organizations have their own dress code. Okay? Enhance your dressing with the most great accessories. There are some times that you are actually overdressed and weighed down by 6 bangles here, 6 bangles there, and 4 rings on the right left hand. And this thing just to show that you are better than the Yasikira, you put Akul, she must agree. Say, she could get, say, I know be small. You are going to the office. When you are going for a wedding on Saturday, by all means. Okay? So don't over-attend yourself. Then grooming and blending of colors. For the diplomatic service is always very cool and calm, dark colors, usually. But the thing is, belt to belt, cloth to cloth. If I was wearing a belt here and I'm wearing a black shoe, it means my belt must be black. If I'm wearing a black shoe, I mean, a black jacket, it means my socks must be black. Why? The socks is an extension of my trousers. That is the real code, but you can't tell that to Gen Z now. Whose socks is about 7 colors. And then he makes sure that the trouser does not touch the shoe so you can see the socks. The first time I saw my son, he wanted his Nigerian wear as he came home. I took him to a tailor. Oh, I called him and said, did you tell enough material? I was going to, he said, no, Dad, that's his style. I said, what style? The answer was actually flying above the apple. So one of my, vice president, leave them, well, that's the way they wear it now. So, or sometimes they even wear the suit without wearing socks. Okay? And instead of wearing, when you wear a suit, you must wear a lace shoe. Okay? The one you call the cover shoe, okay, is actually meant for informal dressing. You can wear it when you are better and this thing. Sometimes I see people wear their lace shoes on their better. It's wrong. But again, we can only advise, and get that. Then, if you are going to tie your tie, tie must touch the tip of your belt. Don't tie it as if you are about to strangle yourself or make it short. No, it must touch the tip of your belt. That's the way to wear it. Now, when it comes to shirts, I will always recommend what we call the solid colors: white, blue, pink, and then sometimes rose pink. Right? Now, if you must wear a tie like my good friend here is wearing, and the tie is different, you cannot wear it on the striped shirt. It has to be plain. But if you have a striped shirt and you're wearing it, means the tie won't be plain. Okay? Those are the guides that they give to you. And for ladies, if your blouse is flowery, then your skirt must be solid in color. I understand you can wear full color on top and then after skirt. But if I'm wrong, blame my wife, not me. So that's our grooming, and then the men try to keep their hair well groomed, cut and trimmed. And ladies too, if you want to do great, please just keep it a bit down. About a proper and in said dressing, what's the difference? A proper dressing is the one where you mix color, where you're wearing the brown jacket, and because your favorite color is green, you wear bottom, so that they will know you're a top guy, you have a red shirt. That's important. Indecent dressing is exposing parts of the body. Like for a lady wearing blouse with very low cleavage, going to the office, wearing body hugging skirt or trousers, okay, or exposing some parts of the body. So that's it. And this varies from one culture to the other. So these are just type of dresses. By no means this looks different. This is ultra proper that you have there. Okay, so having laid the foundation, now let's go to culture. What's the definition of culture? Generally, culture can be identified as a collective mass of distinctive qualities belonging to a certain group of people. So it is the collection of distinctive qualities. Like I said, your music, your food, your belief system, educational system, societal arrangement. Right? In broad sense. These include laws, moral belief, knowledge, and custom. It is defined as the totality of thought and practice by which a people creates itself, celebrates, sustains, and develops itself and introduces itself to history and humanity. Once you hear knock culture, people will think of Nigeria. That's your art. It's the way by which you introduce yourself. People see talking drums. They'll think of the western part of this country. Okay? They see, bones heads. They think of Benin. Oh, Tetracota. Blowing robes and agbada and everything. They think of Nigeria. Tying wrappers, two wrappers and thing. Now, when it comes to the flamboyant headgear, definitely Nigeria. So that is what you do with culture. All right? If you think of indigenous religious beliefs, they're talking of Ifa, you think of Nigeria, you go to some other places where they were the Oboku, you think of the eastern part of this country. So this is what culture is, not just your food, not just your dressing. It's the totality of the collection of the quality by which you define yourself and by which you introduce yourself to both the world and history. Austerity. Okay? When protocol practice is mentioned, the first thought that comes to mind is public ceremonies of function. But like I said in the morning, protocol transcends that. Protocol goes right into our villages, right into our own household, right into our associations. Okay? Because protocol is just about the way you organize things. Orderliness. You enforce orderliness into it so that you can set goals and you can have objectives. Without orderliness, you can't do much. What was here going beyond the superficial? I've explained that these attributes, and then we're talking of those intrinsic cultural attributes, especially in the African context, that informs protocol practice. Because it is these customs that tells a Yoruba man, or boy, when he wakes up in the morning and he wants to greet his elders to prostrate. It is the same intrinsic cultural attribute that tells the young girl to kneel. In other parts of the country, they are going to squat. If you go to Japan, they bow. So these are the things where you now see why we're doing all those etiquette things. So you don't say one culture is superior to the other. All right? So these attributes will be identified to show how they can be weaved together into a beautiful tapestry that enhances the operation of protocol in multicultural and diverse milieu to achieve a successful outcome. We have cultures here in Nigeria where we come from various backgrounds, educational, social, religious. We're all in civil service and we have to work together. We must not make our different social backgrounds or cultural belief to become a burden that interferes with our performance. That's the whole essence of this lecture. Yes, unity in city. That's where we got our motto from. We have different backgrounds, but we all have the same objective. With this country, to make it good and to make it great. So what do we do is, yes, we hold them, but we don't make them become barriers. Despite diversity of backgrounds, unique social etiquette makes it a pleasant duty to interact with others, leaving them fully satisfied. And how can this happen? The first is understanding. You need knowledge about other people's culture so that you can understand them. You can understand where they're coming from. And then you try to find intersection with them. Cultural difference between ethnic nationalities with varying qualities such as language, dishes, greetings, and dances. People of the same culture share a series of dominant traits which distinguishes them from others, such as social values, religion, morals, political values, economics, and aesthetics. If you go to the north, you find that they view all, these things, but lovely patterns, indigenous make, that makes it beautiful. Culture provides ethos which aids in both thought and practice, just in people's self-understanding and self-presentation to the world. Cultural exposure is defined as experiences related to a region that aid in developing a familiarity with or understanding the norms. Please underline that understanding the norms, values, and belief of that region. It is likely to contribute to higher cultural intelligence. I say we speak about cultural intelligence, and that's the ability for you to study the norms, the culture, the traits in other settings. And until you do this, until you have this understanding, you cannot have an appreciation. Okay, next slide. Now, this is essence of protocol in culture. Okay, we try to do it again. In this case, protocol refers to the value system, customs, and cultural practices that are important to identify a particular cultural group. Protocols are an important part of all cultures, and they provide guidance on how to treat and work with people in a respectful and useful way. Observing protocols demonstrate respect for cultural culture. Don't look down on other people's culture. Knowledge system and diverse practices. Cultural protocols are ethical principles which guide behavior and actions. These protocols are designed to protect cultural and intellectual property rights. This is essential. If you go to multicultural societies like Australia, Canada, and the rest of them, you find that the rights of the indigenous people are protected and they are copyrighted. Okay? So their marriage, how they celebrate. Like if you go to New Zealand, the Maori, all right, I don't know, all blacks from New Zealand, they do the haka greeting before they start any rugby match. And if you are seeing it for the first time, it almost looks violent. But their own way, this is only performed. No problem. Still watching. Please, can we all rise for the head of service of the Federation?
Siamo continuati in giornata.
Please. May you all be seated? Thank you. With the kind permission of the head of service, I don't know whether you would like me to continue with the lecture and then, okay, thank you so much, man. So we were talking about, I'll tell you about the Haka, practices of the Maori people. When you see it, it looks like very violent cultural thing. But in their own custom, this is done for very, very important dignitaries. When they do the Haka thing, So if you don't understand it, you will look down on it. Not only that, you actually condemn it. So now we're talking next slide. The significance of cultural intelligence. Okay? Having agreed a simple definition of protocol, we shall proceed on how the possession of cultural intelligence or cultural quotient can enhance this. Like we said, for you to be able to live well the protocol, you must understand other people's culture or different cultural milieu. For you to be able to work with them, to show respect for this culture, and to be able to have useful outcomes. So what you need is what they call either cultural intelligence. I know you've heard of emotional intelligence and intelligent quotient. So this is called cultural intelligence or cultural quotient. So our purpose, protocol is summed up as a totality of social graces. Politeness is defined by the way you behave and the way you talk. It enables you to speak with grace without hurting other people's feelings, even when they are wrong. You can be firm, but still polite. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be abusive in order to put your points across. And from our experience, when you use very polite way of correcting people or make them see where probably, their own perspective is, a bit faulty, they tend to listen to you. And you earn their respect and earning their trust gradually. So, politeness always demands a superior part. Cost nothing. It only increases your respect and honor. Just like I've mentioned, polite behavior is very much essential when you work for big companies or organizations or in a multicultural setting, multilingual and multi-setting like Nigeria. Okay? You have other people's understanding and feelings into this. So this is fixing emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Empathy. Put yourself in the position of the other person. Therefore, sometimes you can understand why things are not working well. They might be facing hard times. A kind word from you will encourage you further. So, cultural intelligence, in short, cultural, that's CQ, refers to the skill to relate and work effectively in all cultural diverse situations. Again, cultural intelligence refers to the skill to relate and work effectively in culturally diverse situations, like ours here. We're all coming from different backgrounds, different culture, social background, belief systems, educational systems, but we all have to work to achieve our objective. It is our ability to cross boundaries and prosper in multiple cultures. Cultural intelligence can also be defined as the ability to adapt to new cultural settings. Coming to the civil service from various backgrounds, it's a new setting. And that's why you have rules and regulation to guide conduct, and to set expectations for performance and eventual outcome. The term has been used in business education government. So, for example, get to know people in different communities and social groups. Next slide. Today, workplaces are more multicultural than ever. And it is normal to work with people from many different places and backgrounds. This has opened up many new opportunities, but it has also created some challenges. Cultural differences are not just about nationality, ethnicity, or belief. Many work in multicultural organizations alongside younger or older colleagues who have cultural references, assumptions, and attitudes that are quite different from us. So you have what you call the generational gap too. Old school. Say this one, these are the dinosaurs of the civil service. And some even wish that they reduce the service years to 25 so that the Gen Z can take over and get rid of all these dinosaurs. Okay? So it's not because of cultural background, even when you have in the same organization, different age perspective. Cultural clashes can even emerge between departments and teams in the same organization. If somebody who's heading the particular team has some rigid perspective, they may find it difficult to work with their colleague who has a different one in the same organization. And except you look into it, you might not know the cause of the problem or the lack of it. So it's people with cultural intelligence have the skills to go into new environments with confidence and to make informed judgments based on observation and evidence. Next slide. No, go back. Yeah. Okay. Yes, next slide. So, what are the advantages of cultural intelligence? First, it helps to effectively facilitate work with people from cultural backgrounds. Getting false or embarrassment that can undermine a project or a deal. Because if you have two people with different perspectives working on the project, it's not likely to succeed. Second, cultural intelligence can also give insight into the culture of every organization and enable the understanding of their values and expectations. The civil service has a mission statement, a vision statement, and other things. It's the culture of the organization. Okay? And you need to look deeply into it to understand their value and core belief. Third, research shows that professionals with high cultural intelligence are more successful on assignments and they adjust more easily to living and working within new cultural conditions. Fourth, cultural intelligence incorporates plenty of transferable skills, such as self-reflection, open-mindedness, and the ability to anticipate others. Fifth, cultural intelligence can become a core element of your leadership style. Research shows that organizations that break down cultural barriers promote mutual acceptance perform better than those that do not. Next slide. So, the key points, just to refresh our mind that we've been talking about. First, so the key points here, as I'm reminding of, that cultural intelligence is the ability to recognize and adapt to different cultures. Culture does not just refer to nationality, ethnicity, or religion. Cultural intelligence combines head, that's what they call head knowledge, that's knowledge and understanding, with what you call heart knowledge, that's confidence and understanding. Etiquette is the code of acceptance, acceptable social behavior can only be enhanced by the understanding of the cultural setting in which it operates. Etiquette can only be enhanced by understanding the cultural setting in which it is set. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think our resource person deserves a better round of applause. That's Ambassador Akin Oyateru. Thank you very much. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, esteemed permanent secretaries that just joined us, good afternoon. Head of service, ma'am, while you were away, we had the first session that was taken by Ambassador Akin Oyateru. He took us on introduction and evolution of protocol and diplomacy, after which we had panel discussion. On the theme of the panelists, we had resource persons that have vast knowledge in protocol and information. So amongst them are the Honorable Minister, former Honorable Minister of Information, former Deputy Governor of our state, His Excellency, Mr. Labaran Maku. We also have Ambassador God Snow, God Igali, a retired permanent secretary. We also have Ambassador Bulus Lolo, a retired federal permanent secretary. We also had Ambassador Martin Shelley, Darren Sen, yes, and Ambassador Olutola John Onijala, and our delectable permanent secretary, Career Management Office. They were all members of the panelists. And we just had a lecture now, the second lecture on cross-cultural awareness and in protocol. Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, with your kind permission, I would like to bring other members to the high table. So I would like to invite the representative of the permanent secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He's ably represented here by the Chief Protocol, Ambassador Ben Okoye. You can take your seat. You're welcome, sir. I would also like to invite to the high table the former Minister of Information and former Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State, His Excellency Mr. Labaran Maku, CON. I would also like to bring to the high table Ambassador Olutola John Onijala. Please let's keep the applause coming. Also joining us on the high table is Ambassador God knows Igali. I also like to invite Ambassador Martin Shelley Jerensen and also Ambassador Bulus Lolo.
Okay.
I'd also like to welcome the Permanent Secretary, Service Policies and Strategies Office in the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Deborah O.N. Odo. You're welcome, ma'am. I'd also like to recognize the presence of the Director overseeing the Office of the Permanent Secretary, Service Welfare Office in the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Comfort Adeosha. You're welcome. So to give us the welcome address, I would like to welcome the Permanent Secretary, Career Management Office in the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Fatima Sabia Shugra Mahmood. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. E.T. Esther Punjab, OON, MNI. I would like to please stand on already established protocol or insist on it. I think we have to show that there's nothing like that, but I would like to go with our tradition nonetheless. So it is my singular honor and privilege to welcome us to the service-wide protocol training program, an initiative inspired by the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. D.G. Esther Wilson-Jack, OON, MNI.
Our commitment to accelerating the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan, FCIP 2021 to 2025, reflects the importance of building capacity and professionalism across the service. Protocol is central to effective service delivery, ensuring order, cultural sensitivity, and seamless interactions at every level. It is not only essential for protocol officers, but also for information officers and all civil servants whose roles intersect with protocol. In fact, every civil servant should grasp the rudiments of protocol to perform their duties effectively and uphold the dignity of the service. This program provides us with an invaluable platform to equip participants with the skills and knowledge required to meet global standards in protocol management. It is a unique opportunity to also learn from seasoned professionals whom you've been listening to since morning, who have set the benchmark for excellence because they've been doing this for 35 years and then some. So I'd like to commend also the participants for recognizing the importance of this training and being here since morning, and encourage you to actively engage in the sessions as we move forward. Together, we can ensure that professionalism protocol will become a hallmark of our service, ensuring Nigeria's image, both locally and internationally, is well represented. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Distinguished participants, I think we can do better than that. The Permanent Secretary Career Management Office worked tirelessly for this program to see the light of the day today. I can attest to that. We were in the office until past 11 p.m. last night. Please, let's give her a deserving round of applause. To give us a goodwill message, I'd like to invite Ambassador Dr. Godnose Igali, OON. Is a retired Federal Permanent Secretary. Please, let's welcome him to the round of applause.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. Please, can they switch on the lights? Please begin the lecture. Permanent Secretaries, serving and retired, directors, participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. You know, there's one thing we're trying to deal with, the issue of standing or sitting on protocols. We invented it here in Nigeria, we showed it to the world, and it's not well accepted. But we always tell people that when you leave it very short, you just recognize the most important reality and you say distinguished ladies and gentlemen. That goes quite well. There's a president, vice president, third president, speaker, excellency, governors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. You know, short and depth. But it will take time to well, and every protocol training we bring this up. But somehow we don't know if the world has adopted it because all over West Africa is coming. We take these opportunities to speak. But I believe that I'm speaking on behalf of several retired permanent secretaries and ambassadors from this house, this Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to thank the head of service of the Federation for this, the great presence of mind in organizing this program, along with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The day has been quite rich and well spent, and I'm happy that we have here with us some of the most experienced hands in protocol in the country that are still very active. We've had here Ambassador Mujala, who was chief of protocol here in the ministry. I thought I saw him. Okay, it's right at the end. Or chief of protocol here in the ministry. And later became state chief of protocol. The same thing for Ambassador Oyate, who just gave the lecture. Both were state of here chief of protocol, and also state chief of protocol, which is apex body, and we have others, and Dr. Abazubulus, who are permanent secretary here in the ministry overseeing all our protocol. So we have people with practical knowledge of protocol. And that is the beauty of this training, that it is not just a matter of theory, coming to theorize about what to do and what not to do, but people with hands-on experience who will share and have been sharing on how they handle practical situations. Head of service, you are right. Protocol is at the very heart of governance. Governance is about making countries better and for societies to be orderly. But for you to have order in any society, there must be effective protocol. Because protocol is order of how things ought to be done, when to be done, and how to be done. When we were young in the service many years ago, not too recent, maybe about more than 40 years ago, those who were there that groomed us used to tell us. I used to be head of protocol at Lagos International Airport for some years. And my boss would tell me that, look, the principal is never wrong. The person who is wrong is the protocol officer. So the protocol officer must get it right all the time. And there's nothing like an impossible principal. There's always a way of going around your principal. And that is what we tell younger protocol officers. When we see that they say, oh, my boss is impossible. I was discussing with somebody today. Because when the principal has an appointment, is when all the friends from his hometown will come in to talk with him. And he feels very much at home with them. You, the protocol officer, must know how to handle him, to work with him. And these are the practical nuggets that the gentleman and the lady, by the way, I did not introduce, mention Ambassador Garrison, who is one of our best protocol hands. And she was in protocol, she was chief of protocol here too. She was chief of protocol here. And because the protocol in Villa works with the protocol here, because the people who are in the Villa are staff from this place. And many times, the person here may be senior, going to those in the Villa. And we have Ambassador Kazari, who are also chief of protocol. So they are able to work directly daily. But what I can assure you, head of service, is that this initiative will go well because these old hands will groom these young people very well, and by the grace of God, it will bring more order in the way that things are done within the service and for the good of the service. I must also commend the private initiative of the Ivy League School of Protocol and Diplomacy, which is similar to similar bodies we have all over the world. We have the Washington School of Protocol, we have the Madrid School of Protocol, several private initiatives that have consultants who are mostly drawn from retired people that work with governments to protect. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to have you around, and we thank the ministry for keeping the flag flying. Ambassador Ben Okoye himself, the chief of protocol of the ministry, has been one of the best protocol hands we have in the country. He was protocol assistant to the president, he was protocol assistant at different levels, both to the ambassador, and has come back to head the protocol. Every foreign affairs person is a protocol officer, first and foremost. That's what they teach us. But then there are people that specialize in protocol. And we hope that in the next 2 days, 3 days, we'll go into sessions, simulation sessions, and I've discussed with the resource persons. After today, it will be more of practical experience. How do you deal with situations? Like what about the Oriental told us, between protocol and security. Because security is to protect the person, protocol is to ensure everything goes well. What is the balance? Everybody wants to be visible. And what about personal assistants? Who carries the briefcase? Is it the protocol officer? You are busy struggling for briefcase with the PA and you leave your job. So we want to assure you, Your Excellency Head of Service, that the team which the ministry has assembled together with the consultants will deliver on your expectations. And hopefully, this will be the beginning of the change in line with your vision for the Federal Civil Service. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Godnose Igali. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've been waiting for. I would like to bring to the microphone an astute administrator, a visionary leader, whose vision is to daily empower civil servants to enable them perform optimally on their job and deliver on the gains of the renewed agenda of Mr. President. If your hands are not too busy, please make welcome the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Walton-Jack, OON, MNI. If you're clapping, you can do better, please. Thank you very much. Please be seated. The super transformative permanent secretary in the office of the head of the civil service of the Federation, and in particular, I recognize Mrs. Fatima Mahmood, Permanent Secretary, Career Management Office, the very distinguished diplomats and retired, and Muslim Bridge Protocol. So maybe I should have taken the advice of Ambassador Godnose Igali and kept it short. But since I've started, let me try. The former Minister of Information is not here. Thank you for that coaching, sir. His Excellency, the former Minister of Information and former Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State. Very distinguished diplomats and retired permanent secretaries here present. The Chief of Protocol to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the representative of the Permanent Secretary Foreign Affairs, participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. So you see, it's not so easy, and we all need to learn it. So if I wanted to go the way that Ambassador Igali advised us, I would just have said, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by apologizing for coming very late, because this is supposed to be an opening address. It has now become more like a closing address. But I'm sorry, because we had to accompany Mr. President to the National Assembly, where he had to lay the 2025 budget. So I'm sorry I am late. I want to start by asking a question. Since I won't be here tomorrow, let me do my own coaching or teaching today. And I have a prize for whoever will answer correctly. Now, the lecture I met by Ambassador Oyate was on culture. And he said, you need to understand the culture of the people to be able to relate with them well.
So my question is, who will tell me what is the culture of the Federal Civil Service? If you know it, put up your hand. What is the culture of the Federal Civil Service?
Productive,
Yes, I see a hand over there.
incorruptible,
You, madam.
citizen-centered.
Yes. No,
Efficient, productive, incorruptible, and citizen-centered.
clap for her. So before I do come for your debut. So the culture of the Federal Civil Service is an EPIC culture, and EPIC stands for efficient, productive, incorruptible, and citizen-centered. So I now go to my speech. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this important 3-day service-wide protocol training organized by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The theme of this training, professionalism in protocol, elevating standards for effective service delivery, underscores the importance of equipping officers like yourselves with the skills, knowledge, and attitude required to function effectively in protocol-related assignments. This training is captured under Pillar 1 of the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2021 to 2025, which is now being expanded to enhance capacity building initiatives across the service. Through this strategy, we aim to train civil servants year-round, cadre by cadre, and across all grade levels to ensure they are equipped with the necessary skills to deliver exceptional service and drive the ongoing reforms in the Federal Civil Service. In the ever-evolving landscape of the service, the role of protocol officers, public relations officers, information officers, and personal assistants cannot be overstated. You serve as the frontline representative of your ministries, departments, and agencies, interfacing with dignitaries, coordinating protocol arrangements, managing the media, and ensuring smooth communication. As such, the need for professionalism, precision, and excellence in your duties is imperative. The objectives of this training are clear. One is to equip officers with relevant knowledge, skills, and attitudes in protocol practice. The second is to foster a deeper understanding of international protocol, etiquette, and cross-cultural communication, especially in the globalized world. And the third is to appraise and apply protocol best practices, standards, and strengthen collaboration in diverse settings. I'm sure there are many of you here who have had the privilege to receive diplomats in your MDA. And you will find that if you are really doing it right, there are certain protocols that you need to understand. So as a permanent secretary, I found out that many of the protocol officers didn't know some of these protocols. And I remember I was in a ministry and we were to receive the Deputy Secretary General of the UN. And I said to my protocol staff, we need to get the UN flag. And they were like, why? Why do we need the UN flag? I said, we need the UN flag to place it behind where the Deputy Secretary General will sit, just as we will place the Nigerian flag behind where the Honorable Minister will sit. And so we did that, and I can tell you, when she came in and saw the UN flag, she became so excited. And her exclamation is part of what made me think that we needed this training. Because she said, wow, Permanent Secretary, thank you so much. I've been visiting quite a number of MTAs, and I never saw the UN flag. So we need to know what the protocol is in receiving and attending to very important persons. It is evident that lapses in protocol, media relations, and support roles, particularly when dealing with VIPs, have significant implications. Addressing such challenges requires capacity building, continuous learning, and a mindset of excellence, qualities we expect you to embrace over the course of this program. I commend the Permanent Secretary, Career Management Office, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for driving this initiative. I also appreciate the effort of the organizers and facilitators for ensuring that this training has been meticulously planned to deliver practical knowledge and best practices that align with global standards. I have no doubt that that will be done because the array of resource persons that I see lends credence to the fact that you all are in for a very good training. To all the participants, I urge you to take the most of this workshop, to make the most of this workshop, engage with the resource persons, share experiences, and identify ways to improve your professional performance. The civil service is counting on you to uphold the highest standards of protocol, communication, and public engagement in your various offices. Before I conclude, let me reiterate that the selection of officers from all ministries and extra-ministerial departments drawn from protocol information, public relations, and special assistance is part of our collective commitment to ensuring that professionalism becomes the hallmark of the Nigerian civil service. Ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on this 3-day journey of learning and development, I have no doubt that this training will elevate your competencies and contribute significantly to effective service delivery. And on this note, I hereby declare the 3-day service-wide protocol training program open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the head of the civil service of the Federation. This is PD Esther Jack O.N. Emena.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We may all be seated.
So much.
I'd like to invite for the vote of thanks the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and is also the Chief Protocol for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Ben B.M. Okoye. Chief of Protocol. Okay, apologies, please.
Thank you very much, MC. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me, on behalf of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and by extension, the Honorable Ministers of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, thank the head of service of the Federation for deeming it fit to organize this event with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This program is very key and important in service delivery. Those who participated so far will attest the quality of delivery of the lectures, the panel discussions, and much more that is still awaiting you in the next 2 days. We, by the directive of the head of service, gather the best in the field of protocol. You've had the introduction so far. You have State Chief of Protocol, former, who was my boss. You have about 4 other Chief of Protocols in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You have retired permanent secretaries from the ministry. What more can you ask for? This program is organized in a way that you can get the best. We're going to move into problem-solving section. We'll ask you questions like this. If you go on the field of protocol assignment and you face a problem in the presence of your boss, what do? Somebody may be asking, what kind of problem? Let's assume that your boss is taking a commercial flight in Nigeria, where a seat is already allocated for your boss. Boss, she is taking a business class. She needed not to board the flight with others who are taking economy flight. So she's waiting in the waiting lounge. You two, the protocol officer, waiting with her, gisting. By the time you get to board this plane, her seat or his own seat has been taken. And she's following you behind, asking you, where is my seat? What will you do? You carry a passport that has a valid visa, but it's expired. A protocol officer, you didn't notice, but you have gone to the airport already. You have faced the situation. What do? My boss said, resign immediately. Visas have validity, not just effective date for you to use a visa. So you went to Indian High Commission, you procure a visa today, and you want to travel today, but the visa effective date is next tomorrow. But you, as the protocol officer, you don't know. You had arranged your boss to go to the airport because you've been waiting eagerly for this visa to come. You made all efforts, you have tried. Thank God you have got a visa. So you're moving to the airport, but effective date is ahead. So there are several of these problems in this training workshop we're going to deal with practically. Let me In this vote of thank the superlative permanent secretary who responded to the call of the head of service in providing those to be trained. Because I know that this circular for the call came out very late, and yet we were able to have a very full house, which means we need this training. All the sincerely thank the facilitators and the resource person, the panelists. We're always in touch with them. I don't even think that we give them a formal letter. We're just calling them. Just be ready. When we are ready, we'll call you. Our apologies for our lapses, but then this is call of duty, and you did not disappoint us. Thank you so much. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, we will remain committed to collaborate with the head of service for many more trainings ahead. But like the resource persons and the panelists were taking us through, we're talking about professionalism. We're talking about raising standards. Part of the basic problems we have in protocol practice is ability to keep to time, managing times. You managing time in the event, managing your boss getting tired of you, so many issues. Together, we will come to a point where we can indeed say we have actually reached that. We would have been looking at manuals we have provided for ourselves as guides in this business. The protocol is everything. A protocol is what can actually create a positive image to our organizations for an effective delivery in our country. Once again, I thank you for coming to this program. God bless you. By the permission of the head of the civil service of the Federation, we've just had a lecture. So we don't want to throw the questions away. If you have time, we want to take some questions. Okay. Okay.
Head of service, ma'am. Ma'am, please, before you leave, can we quickly have a group photograph with members of the high table? Just a shot. Cameraman, please. Head of service, ma'am.
Mr. Fashola. Mr. Fash.
Thank you very much, the head of the Civil Federation. Distinguished participants, due to exigency of duty, the head of the Civil Federation will now take her leave while we'll continue with the technical session.
Okay, well. Me, ma'am. Ẹ̀yin principal ló rán yà.
Participants, please, can you come back into the hall?
Hello, Timmy.
Distinguished participants, please let's settle down. I'd like to invite for the problem clinic to take us through the problem clinic. Dr. Ines Jimmy is the course director for this training. Please, if your hands are not too busy and you're not too tired, please give him a round of applause.
Sorry. Are you interested? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this session is it's going to be brief. We'll use a maximum of 30 minutes. We don't want to keep you here for too long. But may we ask, please, respectfully, all registered participants, please rise, please. All registered participants, please rise. Thank you. Please, yes, you deserve an applause. Many are usually called, but how many are chosen? You are the chosen ones. And if you know you are chosen one, the chosen ones, please clap for yourself. If you really do believe in yourself, please clap for yourself. Please. The hall was filled up earlier. At the last count, including our media friends, we had almost 340. But if you look at who you are right now, turn around, tell your neighbor, nice to have you here.
Nice to have you.
You're not saying this as someone who practices protocol. Is that the handshake that we should be having? If your neighbor to your right is not responsive, can you do that to the neighbor on your left? If you can't make friends here, where then would you make friends? Okay, so tell me, what's your neighbor's name? Now you speak. All right, folks. Protocol, please don't sit, please. If you're a registered participant, please stand. Protocol is friendship. Protocol is friendship. And please note this down somewhere. You will be working with VIPs at very close quarters, but access is not equality. Access is not equality. Because you have access that you work with your principals, you're not equal to them. They would listen to you, but don't abuse it. That's why you're here. That's why for the next 20-25 minutes, we're going to do something really practical here. It is the problem clinic. Please clap for it. Now, the problem clinic is a session where you have life challenges as officers in the field. You may sit for a moment. That exercise was to ensure that you're not seated for 3 hours stretch. So it's part of HSE, okay? It was an exercise. Please take everything you're taught here serious. Please, it's important. Even the little words that drop, they might help you while in the field. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Good. So, before we go into the real problem clinic session, we'll take the next 5 minutes to do something here. Please, Everybody registered for this program must belong to a syndicate group. Please. So right now, if you know you're a registered participant, one more time, please rise and we'll take numbers. Just write. If you're registered, please. If you are registered for this program, please write. Now we'll take numbers starting from you, sir. We'll take numbers 1, 2, 3. After every 3, the next person starts with 1. Okay? Clear enough? Now, if you've taken a number, if you've given yourself a number, you may sit and take note of the number that you gave to yourself. Sir, what would your number be? Okay, and yours, ma'am, and yours, sir. 3. You may sit if you've taken. Please note your numbers. Please be audible, please. Yes, sir. 2, madam. 3. You are 3. Yes.
1, 2,
3.
1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Madam? 2.
2, 3. 1. 1.
The woman, the lady there, your name. Okay, yes. 1. You are 1 now. Yes, sir. She's 1, so you're 2.
3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1, 2,
3. 3.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. 1.
Three. No, 2 of you are disqualified, sir. Yes, sir. So what was your number, sir? 3. The next, sir. Yes, please.
1, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay?
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir. Sir, be audible, please. Sorry, you. 1.
3.
I'm facing this side right now. You are 3, sir.
1.
Yes, sir.
1.
3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1.
3, yes, sir. Please be audible, we can't hear you. You are 2, madam? Okay, 2. Sir, are you standing? Are you registered? Okay, if she's 2, you'll be 3. Let's make it quick, please. 3, sir, the man with the bowler hat, you're 1.
1, 2, 3. 1.
3, madam, 3. Is she a 1?
3.
The man is 3, so she's a 1. Yes. Madam? 2.
3.
You, man.
3. 3.
Okay, 2. All right, thank you very much. That, okay, you're number 3, man. All the ones, please stand, please. All the ones, please stand. All the ones, please stand. All right, thank you very much. All the ones, please pack your stuff and come to this side of the room. And if you are in two, pack your stuff to the middle. And if you are in three, please pack your stuff to this other side. Please clap for yourself as you do that. Thank you very much. So we have 3 syndicate groups. The faster you move, the better for your group, please. Some people sit with their friends, but we end up having friends all around the place at the end of this exercise. Okay, all the ones together here, no gap, no gap. At least sit beside someone, please. All the twos this way and all the threes on this side. Now, if you have
number 2 is number 3 is 24. You remember one standing. You're supposed to do this. Your neck.
Okay. All right. There should be no space between you and someone. Everyone sits next to someone. That's why you're a team. Okay. All right. I can see that group 2 don't like themselves. Obviously. The only people, the last row on group 2 should be after this camera. If you know you're beyond this camera, please come forward. Please, quickly. Let's do this. And group 3, please. The last group should be the gentleman with the hat. Everybody beyond that, come forward. Let's do this quickly so that we don't keep your resource persons waiting for too long. The class will be out. We'll play. We'll learn. But it won't be the hard way. Okay. Okay. Group 1, you're ready. Now, this is the plan. While we're waiting for others to get settled, members of group 1, please close up the ranks. Nobody behind there. Just come close to you. Sit beside someone. Nobody behind. This is no left behind series. Everyone must sit beside someone, please. There's a reason for this. Protocol is about orderliness. Yeah. And even if you're an information officer in this place, communications, personal assistant, what you're doing is protocol actually. You're actually doing protocol. What's communication? You talk, you write. The other person understands, isn't it? If you do not understand yourself in protocol, who fails? Who fails? Say it now. Who fails? Me or you? Say you. No, don't say me. Okay, so okay, so at least the class is back now. Thank you. Clap for yourselves, please. All right. So easily we have group 1, and then sorry, I will remove down if you don't. This is group 2, syndicate group 2. This is syndicate group 3. Okay. Now, 2 things you would do as a syndicate group. First, we'll take the questions so that our resource persons will give you some comfortable answers. And then the second part of this is that at your group level, nobody leaves. Nobody leaves. Please nominate a group leader. You will also nominate amongst yourself a group secretary, right? And a group spokesperson. Amongst yourself, those 3 officers from your group, you will nominate. We will introduce you to your own syndicate group facilitators, the moderators of your group. Each group will be given a topic. And if you ever attended any business school, nobody tells you to do your assignments today. If you leave today's zone, tomorrow's zone will join it. It will be practical, and your experiences from your various bits will be brought to bear. Do you agree? Do you think it's going to be? But it depends on you. On our side, we will make it interesting, and nobody will sleep. That's an assurance. All right, so group 1, you pick a group name. Group 2, pick a group name as well. Group 3, you pick your group name and a slogan for your group. But the general slogan that we have is what? Protocol. So people are sleeping. Now we know those that were in class. Protocol. Protocol is a lifestyle. So when we say protocol, you say lifestyle. Protocol. And lifestyle, if you note this down somewhere, what you do when nobody is watching. The plan when nobody is watching is what will make you a pen of reference when people are watching. Did you get that? What you do, the plans you make when nobody is watching is what will make you a pen of reference when everybody is watching. Person of reference, you can be negative, you can be, if you're made a negative reference, is that good or bad? So what you do will determine if you'll be a person of negative reference or positive reference. But I know all of us try to be positive ambassadors. At the end of this session, by the powers conferred on us, by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we will declare you, when you have succeeded in completing your assignments, you will be protocol ambassadors. And we will call you your Excel. Don't ask the, you could end halfway, so that we're not guilty of many things, you know. So you'll be protocol ambassador. You'll be protocol ambassador. Good. At day 3, we'll put it up. Okay? All right, thank you. So right now, Problem Clinic is a platform where some of those challenges that you face when you are out there, some of those challenges that gives you the grief, some of those challenges that you're looking for how best could handle. Please, you have classroom immunity. Nobody would hold you responsible for a hypothetical scenario that you created, but that scenario can help the other person if he or she is faced with it. Do you agree? All right. If you have any challenge, if you had, madam, if you do not have a number, take a number. You can't just sit anywhere. You didn't have a number. You have. Sir, you have a number. Good. All right. There are so many scenarios that people throw it at us when we teach. By the way, I'm a teacher. I don't know if I should say it here, sir, but with permission. There are questions you might have. And now open up. Please, if there is any question, just put up your hand. We're going to take this in the next 15 minutes max. Any questions? Challenges? Even on the last lecture? Questions from the last lecture? Just put your hands up. Yes, ma'am. While she asks, please, your name and then the question, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity, and thank you to our facilitators for the wonderful lectures. We really enjoyed everything. I followed it completely, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So while my question caught up from the first presentation, my name is Halima Usman. I work with the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, CAS. and I'm an assistant director. Thank you very much. So, during the presentation, I had so many things, and I have these questions to ask. One, as a protocol of public relation officer, so I do a lot of anchoring, MC, most of the ministerial meetings in my ministry. And I heard you say we are used to this excellency thing, and sometimes I get confused. I'm not sure what is the right way to address that. So I want us, this house, to please help us so that if here, we will leave here as change agents so that we know the exact thing to say when we're addressing people. Is this your excellency? Is it right? Or should we the proper way to address people? Secondly, when managing people, sometimes you see people, I remember in those days when I started anchoring events, when you come late and the principals are seated, you just sneak in quietly and sit down. But we are now in a generation that people come late, the principals are seated, even if it's the president or whoever is the most important person at that event. Yet somebody comes later and send you his complimentary card or his name and insist you must introduce him. How do you such situations? Okay, those are my questions for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, since we're all hungry, my answer will be very short. I'm telling the collection, that's what people want to hear. I take the model of what I call title and addresses. That's a 2-hour titles and addresses. That is usually a minimum of 2 hours. And we'll go down into depth and everything. The only people who can be addressed as His Excellencies are, where it is accepted, sovereigns, that's head of state, foreign minister, and accredited envoys, ambassadors. After that, who any other person is admitted, internationally use that title. Okay? But here, everybody, even the governors are not entitled, sir. If you are going strictly by international best practices, that's what I'm here to teach you. Understand? I'm not here to agree with the national sentiments that we have. It is not right. America, where we copy this system for, is simply Mr. Governor, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. They don't use deputy. And for the US, okay, the only way to address the US is Mr. President. You'll be surprised to see the letterhead of the President of America. This is height of simplicity and elegance. A blue letter colored in a paper, embossed with the crest of America, and it just says, understand, 1400 Pennsylvania Avenue, and 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. Okay? United States. That's all. A White House. Sorry, White House, and that's all. And beneath, okay? They just signed even by their normal, what you call Monica. Because the full name of Clinton is William Jefferson Clinton. I think it's second or something. But the only way he signed his letter is just Bill Clinton, president. It is no further introduction. That of the Prime Minister of the UK, he is addressed like Right Honorable Prime Minister. All right? And when he was writing President Obasanjo, they were so familiar that he just says, "Yeah, this is a formal letter." And says, "Yours, sincerely, Tony." End of story. And he will just put there, number 10 Downing Street, something West, this in London. That is it. I'm sorry to say, but there is empty barrels, complete the rest. So I will stop that, but that is the right thing. No, let us answer the second question and then pass it on to you. I remember running a clinic for the spouses of the first lady and the spouses of the governors in 2007. The only reason I had lunch was because the lecture I delivered was after lunch. If I had mistakenly delivered it before lunch, I'm sure they will ensure I had no lunch to eat. Because I told them there's only one first lady. And that is the wife of the president. Every other person is a spouse. Spouse of the governor. And I told them, you are not your excellencies. Of course, you're not making me popular. Okay, the only thing they can tell you to do is not to come and run the. But I was the one running the thing. But that's the truth. They wanted to know about best practices, and I told them that. You are just a spouse of the governor. And why do I use spouse? Just in case the governor is a lady. Okay? So the husband becomes the spouse of the wife. In America, they don't use any vice distinct for the vice president. It's the vice president, there's no second lady. Huh? And that's where we'll probably be for. Your second question is okay. When I left the foreign service before my engagement with the NDC, some of you here know I run the protocol consultancy services, and I equally compare. I said my compare fee is either you take it or you leave it. I don't negotiate. The second thing I will not negotiate, which will not make me take the first, I do not recognize anybody that comes late, and I do not care who you are. Once they achieve every guest of honor, already comes. And it's very simple. It is very charging and it's insulting of those who have come earlier, kept the time, and then of the guest of honor. Listen, we take it very practical here. In the Middle East, when Mubarak was the president of Egypt, I attended a non-aligned conference there. As soon as Mubarak comes in, the whole door is shut. If you have a heart attack, sorry, they will not open that door. If you are in labor, that door will not be open until Mubarak leaves. So I'm giving you various examples. I personally do not do that. I anchored a program for the former governor of Oyo State in Ibadan. And these were my conditions. And I told the governor, who was like my big mom, one, I didn't want to do it. It was the wife program in blackmailed me. And I said, provided you're listening, I will start this program 10 minutes after 5. 10 minutes after 10 to make allowance for you. He said, you are always an Englishman. And the rest of them, it's not too late, you know. He said, don't blackmail me. He got to Makuho at 15 minutes to 10. And later, when he invited me for lunch in this thing, one of our big said, Governor, what happened to you? He said, because of that naughty boy there. He said, because I know we will start that program 10 after 10. Today, when we finish lunch break here, you are telling me wait for people. I said, I don't have. I will start even there are only 5 people here. And that's what I did. We have to enforce school. I want people to know that if they come late, they may not even be allowed to enter. Let alone recognize the worshipper. Yes, sir. Okay.
There is something, and I think I mentioned that before. Our parents as a people is what affected us. Ours is the only country that I have seen, and I know that people are so very united. And it is that thing about title that has put in the confusion. If you address an ambassador as Excellency, is where that ambassador is accredited. When he comes back home, he ceases to be excellency. Don't stop to refer to even me today as excellency. I answer it because I'm at home. And I'll tell you how I learned. He's of blessed memory now. One of those who trained us. He was ambassador to China. And I remember in my you say, good afternoon or good morning, Excellency. He looks at you and says, good morning, Excellency. And you are a tiny rat. The general calling you, first, second lieutenant, addressing you as generous. You know your points. Okay? So, calling people Excellency will so bastardize the title that it has no meaning. Everybody is excellent. And if you are at home, you will excel. By only using for community. Don't extend it outside. The second point that you raised about readiness. In fact, you see, events and time management go together. I've made the point also in the morning that you invite people to an event, right? And you on it today, you say, can't admit one. I don't know how many events you have seen where that one can be. Just add a 0 to 1. Why? The hangers on that accompany you or meet, know that they are not invited. And they are the sort of people who bring their cards and say, yeah. You come 30 minutes late. It's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock. Okay? And if it is a 2-hour event, it will last 2 hours. Why? Time is money. But with us, I know you've got to give an appointment with the minister. You've taken 3 hours waiting for the minister. You've left your own people. Where you are not working, minister is not working, someone is also waiting for you. And I hope you factor this into our productivity. Because I'm concerned about productivity. If you don't factor it, then everything goes wrong. But to say, unless when and I've served as either, I don't say MC, but I've led meetings before. Once I finish my recognition, you bring me your paper, I've seen but I've not seen. I've seen but I've not seen because I won't do it. But you also need your courage and you need that skill to absorb the criticism that will follow. But I don't find it easy or funny to manage the ego of our people.
Let me say this. I will confront them for a minister. I don't get it. If he gets there and he gets not started in 15 minutes, he never come. That's I was one of Ambassador Matilda. They were saying this here. I said she's here. We were both resource persons last year, I think, for the First Ladies seminar, 3-day seminar on the protocol and security. And the former First Lady, I just need to remember my name. He said, Mr. Ambassador, what you call it? I know you. He said, what is this thing that everywhere we're going, follow us around? You said the other day they cut my slippers. No, she's there to hear it. He said, what is it that I go overseas, I don't see anybody following anybody. This was the principal complaining about our SSS. The director from SSS was there too. And The same way Ambassador Tolori get answer. He said it is wrong. Even for us security people, it makes our work so hard. Because we cannot protect our principals adequately. But because people want to be seen on the network news, the crowd. And he said, even standing behind your principal when it's on the podium is not right. For me, it actually compromises your principal's security. We served in a few countries, including Africa, and I never see anybody behind all this thing. But I tell you, try any funny thing, they will put you down in a few seconds. Right? There are agents sitting all over. But when you are actually protecting your principal, you must have 360-degree view. If you stand here, you've already cut off 180. Supposing the attack is coming from behind. The threat is from behind. How do you deal with that? So you see, it's a Nigerian thing. And sometimes we use this, the big status thing to even compromise, the principal is to compromise himself alone. I served in London. When the Prime Minister is going out, he has only one car in the whole, his entourage of 2 cars. They don't stop any traffic light. What they do is that they use riders. Before he gets to a particular junction, they just slow down the traffic, and they are working with the people who are managing the light. He goes, the Queen, which I knew when she was alive, because I passed in front of Buckingham Palace every day to get to the office. Uses only 3 cars. All right? And if she's within the car, in the lane, within the car, then you have the strobe light. Otherwise, the car, nobody stops the traffic car. That's the Queen of it. I don't know, but don't try anything funny. You try anything funny, you just see helicopters and every black captains coming out of the sky from nowhere. So you don't see it because you're in a too age. And then you don't do that. So we must learn the world best practices. And that is the way it is. If you see the Prime Minister going to Parliament, he walks from 10,000 to the Westminster. He just goes there, goes through the delegate lounge like everybody else. And he gets into Parliament. And let me tell you, his remuneration is only 15% higher than other MPs. Thank you.
Let me add. We're talking about time management issue. Let me give you 3 scenarios. I'd like to be very practical. Number 1, most times, protocol officers delay their bosses in attending meetings early enough. I've had a situation when I was the chief of protocol to the governor, and this meeting was a meeting of ECOS, that is governor's meeting. I am a protocol officer, you are a protocol officer, you are at the venue of an event. Communicating back to your principal, saying the venue is not ready. The question is, who is to come first? Who is the lesser governor? So if you don't understand the environment of your assignment, you will have contributed to the problem we're talking about, time management. So that day, I had to call all the protocol officers around there and agreed on a time where we must ask our bosses to move so that we can start the meeting. That's how we're able to solve the problem. So you're going to a meeting of equals different from you are the boss of that assignment. So every other person is waiting for your boss. It's different. When you can say it is not ready, so you don't want him to move. So we need to have this understanding. Second scenario. I went to Denmark. I think my former boss was Ambassador Nijala. We went to Denmark for a program, business meeting with our boss. And somehow the Nigerian delegation was delayed for 15 minutes. And those who were to meet left the meeting. They said we are not serious. Business delegation, 15 minutes. So time is everything. So as a protocol officer, you are the one to manage your boss's time. And if you don't understand your boss, you don't have the information that can manage your boss properly, you will have situation at hand. So you must learn how to prioritize what is important in managing your boss. One of them is time. It's very key. So if your boss is already seated in an event, no other person is important. If you have to bring in someone, you have to take permission. So person came late for so this cannot bring him in. That is the proper way to do. So we're going to be addressing the best practices. So those are some of the things that we need to be addressing. It is very, very important. Thank you.
That's the best we can do for. Thank you so much, sir. We've spent any other question. Just one more, because actually, we need talking time management. We really need to be out of here in the next 5 minutes. And we can only take one more question. The reason is another set is going to be using this facility, and we cannot keep that with. However, you're already nominating yourself. Let's clap for you.
My name is Adele Joe. My question was first and foremost, I would like Mr. Fue to complete the two issues that are usually happening between the principals and the protocols. One is that's the light at the airports. Very key, because when you find yourself in the crossroad, you should be able to, from experience, I expect him to at least give us the light on how to come out of that junction. That is one. Two, one very important thing that out of this place is issues with the PAs and the protocols. I think my first assignment on this meeting today, once I get it, I should have the data page of my principal, because most of them hide some certain documents for us to, which is very important. Like he said, knowing when this document is going to expire, if you are not in possession of such document, how would you know? So I think it's a very, very important. That is my own first assignment, and I want us to help us to look at it. How do we go out of this challenges and make the path down?
Thank you very much. We're talking about time management. We'll come to the other one tomorrow. But let me give you a tip about time management. Let us assume that you, as a protocol officer, is keeping your time. You are sitting in a meeting with your boss, is having discussion with someone, and by your own assessment, the meeting has ended. They're just talking from here and there's no substance. How do you stop this meeting? How do you stop this meeting? You have the courage to do that, protocol officer. Recently, my minister had a meeting, similar meeting, an ambassador who was paying a farewell visit to him. Usually, after the interaction and all that, exchange gifts and all of that, they were still sitting and talking. And I knew the meeting has ended. So what I did was to thank the Honorable Minister very well for finding time for this very brief meeting, and also thanking the ambassador, for having served, within this environment and all the collaboration and all that we have had. And because the minister is having another engagement, minister, I think he can attend to other meetings. So I now move with the ambassador out of the office. It was simple for me, but it might not be simple for some of you who don't have that experience. What if you say this and your boss continue? So these are some of the things that we need: strategy, the skill, set to deal with. So if you do this thing, your boss may not like this. Afterwards, when it's reflecting on some of these things, you know that yes, you know what you are doing. At the end of the day, it's what you do well that will prize you in the work you do. Not the compromises, not what will they say, what would they say about me and all of that. So we have a lot for you. Just be rest assured and take this training serious. This is practical things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll just have 1 minute for His Excellency Ambassador Soldier. However, please, my ambassador, sir, 1 minute, please, sir.
Let me just give you a practical example. As a protocol officer, you have to be very creative. Ambassador Okoye, was President Bila. And one thing to President Jonathan is never late. Very time conscious. But when it's in a meeting, and it's, I'm trying to wait in the meeting, and he keeps talking, and I know there's another program. I open the door, says, close that door. Say, where's the meeting again? And anybody must be stubborn as the protocol officer. After 5 minutes, I will go and open the door and start at the door. You were in Apple for 1 day, then we'll be. The people were going on, and my principal was enjoying the meeting. And the camp commander was calling me that I will not leave me again. So I whispered to the president, I did the staff for the president, let me take this one more job. So I got the PLO. The PLO, just never you are going out. Go out. When you come on, this was something in my ears. Let's forget you that you are going out. So the PLO went up, came back and whispered to my ear something. So when it is, I got up, I went to the president. The commander said that is the likelihood of a storm. And the guy doesn't take any storm. Yeah, storm. When I said the commander said there is the likelihood of a storm in Abuja, he said, "Oh, gentlemen, I think you have to." You must divide get this attention. When he's talking and and there is that is up, you can stand up and stand. Keep remain standing. People the visitor will know that one day one professor came to see me and she went on talking and I stood up and I remained standing. So the minister looked at said, "Look, when you see that man standing, this your time is up." So As a principal officer, you must be bold, represent bold, courageous, and creative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, as a protocol officer, you must improvise. You have to be friendly, but firm. Friendly, but firm. So thank you. I am sorry, but there are so many hands and so many questions on papers. People have indicated interest. Day one has been exhaustive, I must say. Apologies that we cannot take them today. But if I have those questions that you've written, I can assure you that tomorrow's practical session, we will take those questions because we'll have a lot more time. A few announcements so that we are all on the same page. Tomorrow, we're going to start a bit early. In fact, earlier than today. Tomorrow, we'll start at 8 o'clock, please. Yes, yes. Who remembers the Boy Scouts motto?
Be prepared.
Say it loud.
Be prepared.
Those who are willing, say it louder.
Be prepared.
Those who are catching up, say it in your own way. Okay, there's nobody that's just catching up. So we'll start at 8 tomorrow. And the beauty of it is the 8 o'clock to 8:30 session is not for me. It's really for you. Because in your syndicate group, you will have 30 minutes to discuss before the class starts at 8:30. Does it make sense now? Now, participation is the rule of the game here. Please, you will nominate your team leaders. May I have the moderators for the groups, for group one? Please, Ambassador Biliamino Hamawa. He was here a minute ago. Okay, for group two, we have Mr. Musa Dauda. Okay, don't worry, you're not without leaders. Don't worry, your moderators, they will be here to support you. For group three, may we have Mr. Mohammed Suleiman, please. Please, sir. Please, would a clap? Just clap for him. Just move to meet up with your group, group three, syndicate group three, and you will, please, a representative from syndicate group three should please pick up a representative. Your point, so please, you are nominating another person. You couldn't nominate yourself. A representative from syndicate group one, please. You will step forward and accept. Let me help. Let's make it faster. Yes, sir. The natural leaders are nominating them. Group two, please. A nominee, please. Group two. Group two is not ready. We move. We'll know when the scoring comes. Please, every discussion is important, please, because on day 3, every group will have 20 minutes to present on your topics. Get together in 5 minutes, perhaps. You can use the you could use the foyer, just discuss briefly in group, but take notes. Keep a list of your members, your group members, because that is the list that we're using for certification. It's not everyone who came there that will get their certificates. It's participation that will drive this. Okay, that's for tomorrow. We'll have to start at 8, and we'll do the best we can not to keep you longer than necessary for tomorrow. But please bear with us for today. We can't take any more questions, but it's been a wonderful time. Did you get anything out of today? Only those from this side got something. Now this middle, did you get anything from today? And group 1, are you still getting? No, only 2 people from group 1. No, they're not even bold enough to say. Protocol officers are bold. All
We
right.
need to write our name.
So when we say protocol, what do you say? Protocol?
Like flag.
And tomorrow let's be functional. Thank you very much. But this is it before you go. Please, as you're going out, your lunch pack is ready. Make sure you don't go
We
home
need to write
hungry.
our names down.